Michelle, lovely to be able to catch up with you. And we're looking at a master class for people starting out to play Celtic fiddle, and I've asked your expert advice with your PhD and your movement on, your work on movement as a dance teacher, and also through your movement classes, your online movement classes. What might you recommend for somebody who's perhaps looking to start playing Celtic fiddle, or they're about to play a few tunes, and just maybe some warm up tips for them?
So thank you for asking that question, because I think musicians often forget that they're movement specialists. Their movement is the way their body's going to move as they play, but also how the music is going to affect the body and how it can support the body and heal as people are playing. So you have a choice with your music, what you want to do with it. So if you hold stiffness inside, that's going to come through with your music. So you really want to be soft. So for those that need agility in their fingers, there is a foot rub that you can do. And the foot rub will do the same result, but I'm going to do it on the hands because most musicians are going to be thinking about how they might be able to hold their instrument and what that would mean with their hands. So what you're going to do, first of all, if you just make a fist and feel what the fist feels like, and just notice if there's any stiffness in the joints, how much strength you might have in that fist. And then what we're going to do is rub down between the bones on one hand. And you're going in between the bones. And it's a fairly firm pressure. And then you're going to go on the side. So here and here. And I'm mimicking what happens with the gaits in the feet. And the gaits help us with how we move forward and backward, side to side, and up and down. 3 dimensions. So what we're doing with our hands is creating that same idea. Okay, so now what you're going to do is just hug all over. You can go into your wrist as well. We're just waking up the sensors. All right, and then what I want you to do is just like you play this little piggy with your toes, we're going to do it with our fingers. You're going to squeeze the end of the thumb and then just do a little circle, moving the joint. Doesn't matter which direction. Go to the next one, squeeze the finger. Next one. And you may notice some joints have more fluidity than others. They should be equal, just in case. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to go lengthen to strengthen. So you need one hand to pull apart. And we can go down the fingers as well because the length of them, it's a little bit harder on the toes to do this. And then you can go into the palm of the hand and expand out and going down each finger. All right. So now as you feel that hand, you can probably feel it feels a little bit more alive than the other hand. Now do a fist and see if that stiffness that might have been there has changed, but also the strength of the fist. Go to the other hand. It moved a little bit to assist, but not enough that it'll have a big change. So you may still notice some tightness in the joint. You may also just notice that the fist doesn't have quite the same strength. This makes a difference on even carrying your instrument and also manipulating and moving things around when you set up. Okay, so let's do the other side. So I don't want to leave you with a half and half. So we have the side. And then you can go hugging and moving it around. And then each digit. And you're squeezing at the end of each finger because each finger is linked to a different energy line in the body, which is linked to different muscles in the body. So you actually they're like a switch, and you're turning on different muscles as you do this. as well as the communication speeds up through the body. Okay, so now that you've done that, lengthen, and coming down each finger. So if we were working with muscle fibers in the specific things we wanted to accomplish, lengthening through the belly of the muscle will turn the muscle on. So that's what we're really doing. So if a muscle wasn't quite coming along for the ride as we wanted, we can change that. So now if you make a fist, you may notice you can curl your fingers in a little bit more than you could before. And if you were to pick up your instrument, you may notice you could carry things easier. Musicians often carry a lot of equipment, so having strength in the fingers is really important before you sit down to play. All right, so that is the hand rub. And I'm Michelle Greenwell, and I love to share tips and tools for musicians on the skills that I've developed coming through from the dancers. And you can find me at greenwellcenter.com or capebretonteacompany.ca. Thanks, Colin, for asking that question.
Thank you, Michelle.